Ladies and gentlemen, we're back with game number 1 of Mouzeboard versus Alliance. This is the upper bracket of the We Play tournament. We just see one of the West qualifier team, EG, taking down a TI3 invite. I believe everybody's question is, can Mouzeboard do the same? Alliance is one of these top Western teams, and Mouzeboard, they're not too shabby themselves, so they're definitely one of the favorites of winning the West. Merlini joining me alongside for this Beyond the Summit presentation. Merlini, your thoughts on this matchup? Your thoughts on who's gonna win?
So last thing we saw Liquid. I think everyone considered them the favorites, but EG took them out, and I think that the underdogs in both of these teams have been like practicing way harder, and they have definitely more to prove because they didn't receive a direct invite, and if they don't win the qualifiers, they won't even be at tournament, and that's a really big deal. So I think these teams that are like really close to sweeping the Western qualifiers are like their teams to beat right now because they have like every will to win, and going to TI3 is what every team looks forward to every year. And EG not getting invite, just play their hardest and trump the direct invitee. We might see it here too.
Yeah, I mean, all these teams like you talked about, EG, QPad, for example, Mouzeboard, boot camping very hard, training every hard, and of course always looking to scrims and whatnot. And of course, these are the best partners to practice against and to a big statement to make. If you could beat Alliance right here in a 2-0 or 2-1, and people are asking, Val, why no invite Mouzeboard, right? But let's jump straight into the draft. And once again, as always, Lifestealer being the first opening pick for Alliance. I find Lifestealer scariest at Alliance's hand because they seem to just run this hero perfectly. They run it so much more offensively. It's not just a Lifestealer bomb. He just runs straight in the middle team fight, always finds a correct target. But here's a great hero pickup here for Mouzeboard themselves. It's going to be Nature's Prophet. I find Bulldog's Prophet just very beautiful to watch. Not only does he find his own farm, he's also very good at migrating treants and pulling neutral cams, pulling Ancient Stack for Loda, and taking that away from Alliance is a very, very smart move in my opinion.
Yeah, and Koikva plays very, very good Nature's Prophet, and we actually have seen him like do very well in Nature's Prophet versus Lifestealer matchup, which is very uncommon, but it has still happened. He goes early phase boots and actually is able to do a lot of damage to Lifestealer, and Lifestealer is not a weak early game hero by any means, and teams just have trouble controlling him at all stages of the game, and if you can shut him out in the early game, that just makes it that much easier in the mid and late.
Meanwhile, Magnus being totally ignored so far. I wonder if Alliance will pick him up. Of course, there you go. S4 very good at Magnus. And this is the trifecta, in my opinion, for Alliance. Lifestealer and Loda, Lone Druid being handled with Bulldog, and of course S4 and Magnus. If they even get a Chen on top of this, this is probably the dream lineup for Alliance. So strong at every stage of the game. Give you so much option in terms of laning, as well as in terms of pushing, in terms of team fight as well. And, I mean, Mouzeboard got some good heroes themselves, but this is a scary-ass lineup to go up against.
Yeah, I definitely agree there, and I think if Mouse tries to do the 4 protect 1 strategy that we see sometimes and Black try to outfarm, I think they will just get crushed. Lone Druid will just put pressure on all their towers, and you can't really compete with those two heroes' farm. And the amount of pressure that Lone Druid puts out with Empower and just demolishing the towers literally with that skill, then I just don't really see it coming. I really think they need to run like a more aggressive strategy instead of the passive farming playstyle that we see come out of Mouse sometimes.
Well, this is definitely a very aggressive hero, Puck. I feel that Puck and the Magnus matchup lane, it's definitely a whiff. Both heroes could definitely kill each other. But my question is, what is Puck really going to do in this mid game? Because Lifestealer is going to be very survivable. Same thing with Lone Druid, and Puck may be survivable through his skill set, but if you get caught once, if you get bash or entangle, then you're suddenly sitting out there as a dry. As a great team fight setup spell, I think he's a great hero, but for the most part, I just don't think he'll have the same impact that Puck normally has over some of these squishier heroes, squishier carries, for example.
I think Puck is a very, very good hero at keeping Magnus from getting those really, really big RPs. Getting vision with Illusory Orb and being able to silence him and then coil him and just preventing Magnus from getting off a huge RP is really, really big. Just like we saw from the last series, EG had a really hard time getting letting Magnus find 4 and 5 man RPs, and any measures that you can take to prevent that from happening will make the path to victory easier.
Well, hopefully they could prevent those RP, but so far what is left unchecked is the Lifestealer and Lone Druid. We're in the second ban phase here, and Leshrac is going to get banned out. They don't want Alliance to have even more pushing supports or heroes overall. Juggernaut's going to get the ban out on the other side. I'll be very surprised if Mouzeboard don't take the Chen away from Aki's hand. It just, so much of the offense runs through that Chen, and we'll see how the teams react if the Chen end up being picked. And I'm also very curious what Mousesport's carry of choices, as some of these carries are being banned out. Anti-Mage is one of Black's go-to hero, but I just don't think it'll work here. Meanwhile, Ogre Magi being banned out. No double buff here, and that is a scary double buff on that Spirit Bear.
Yeah, Bloodlust stacks with Rabbit. I don't think it did in Dota 1.
Does it not?
I think they were based off the same skill, but regardless, we will not be seeing any of that two-headed dude today. And very unusual ban. I don't even remember the last time I saw him. I think I saw Liquid run him once with SD and Ogre in lane, but very rare appearance from Ogre Magi.
Yeah, we might see another two-headed dude coming soon. That's another Alliance favorite to run alongside the Magnus. Of course, that's Jakira. Gives you some big AoE team fight. Gives you some decent long initiation range. And more importantly, Liquid Fire, very good in terms of helping them push if that's what they want to do. We're in the last ban here for Mouseboard, and maybe they don't respect the Chen. Maybe think they could deal with the Chen. Any chance of... Alchemist being banned out as well. That's another one of Mouseboard's kind of go-to carry. Any chance of seeing a Void here? Because we see 3 melee so far, 4 melee if you want to count Lone Drew as a melee hero. In terms of an answer to Magnus, in terms of answer to Lifestealer, just Chrono,
I think
it's
too passive. They need more early game right now, just because Nature's Prophet isn't really going to be able to do that much. He's good at like split pushing and creating pressure around the map and being around, but if you don't really have like the early game to support with it, you'll just lose in like 20-25 minutes. They have very aggressive lanes right now, Alliance. As soon as Magnus hits 6, they can just run around the map, like taking control of everything. And if you leave Lone Druid alone, he'll just take out all your towers. And Lifestealer, one of the best carries in a triple lane, and he's very difficult to kill, and just puts out tons of pressure on the opposing carry. And just like you talked about, we see a Chen picker from Alliance.
Yeah, the only particularly quote-unquote weakness of this lineup is that the entire team themselves is not too mobile. Chen's army is great for pushing down towers, but for example, Chen can TP in a tower and suddenly defend it from across the map. Same thing with some of these melee heroes such as Lone Druid and Lifestealer. But what big advantage you get from a Chen pick as well is early Roshan. Chen creeps tanking the front, everything bashing, mauling at the Rock Golem, and you get free Aegis as well. So Mouseboard right now have a ton to worry about. They got to worry about the laning stage. Lifestealers and Magnus are great. Same thing with Lone Druid. They got to worry about mid-game pushes. They got to worry about Roshan. Team fight. This seems to be the dream draft. This is exactly what Alliance wants. And it's going to be a Gyrocopter, I imagine, for Black?
I think that's a very good pick. They need the early game and the AoE from Gyrocopter. If they pick Faceless Void, for example, they wouldn't have any damage. And yeah, sure, you can coil in Chronosphere, but like, what are you going to do? Like, Furion going to right-click like 15 minutes in? That's not really going to do anything. Or just like a Fable from Rubik, that's not enough damage. And Gyro is exactly what they need. They need anti-push. They need some sort of counter-aggression. And Gyro is exactly the hero that can do it. A carry that can function well at all stages of the game and do well with lots of farm.
Yep, the late game farm, you can never count out a Gyrocopter. We've definitely seen our fair share of Divine Rapier comeback victories. So they're good early game magical damage, like Lenny talked about, and of course the late game physical damage being granted by Flat Cannon. So Mouseboard definitely going to be the little bit more agile team here, floating butterfly here, as they are looking to split push all their map, use their mobility through the puck. Venomancer here being the pickup. This is something that I did not expect. The ultimate is going to be absolutely a joke against the Chen. Maybe you're looking for a little bit early game pickoff. It's not going to be too reliable against Lifestealer. He can rage dodge the Venomancer Gale on one hand, but on the same token, if the Gale actually hit, you cannot rage and debuff the slow. So I could see it kind of working, but we don't see this hero too often for a reason. He just tapers off very quickly. He's just not effective in a mid-game situation.
Yeah, but what I was talking about before, yeah, they really need the early game aggression. Without a keeper to defend and without a Magnus to turtle, they really have to counter the early game pressure from Alliance by more early game pressure. And I'm glad that they picked the lineups that they did, or else they would probably just get run over. This is one of the strongest drafts that I've seen from Alliance. Like, giving away that trifecta that you talked about, Lifestealer, Magnus, and Lone Druid as the first 3 picks, that's just really devastating to deal with. And then combined with a Chen and a Shadow Demon, I think Alliance has that advantage just based on draft alone.
Yeah, well, we'll see how Mouseboard handle laning here. We're going to be Fada going mid on the puck. On the top lane is going to be Koifa playing the Nature's Prophet. Nothing surprising there. Paz is going to be handling the support Rubik. Black is going to be on that very important Gyrocopter. Very early Sage's Mask. Huh. I wonder what that's going to be about. Maybe an upgrade into Ring of Besatus, but if you're going to do that, generally start off with the Ring of Protection. So I find that a little bit strange. And last but not least, Cinderin is going to be on the Venomancer.
And on Dire side, we see S4 on the Magnus, most likely solo middle, but he is headed top with 3 of his buddies, Aki on the Chen, Loda on the carry Lifestealer, and EGM as the support Shadow Demon. And all the way on the bottom lane, we have Admiral Bulldog on his signature Syllabear.
Yeah, I hope he doesn't run his bear into that Rocket Barrage, because that's one quick way to do a ton of damage. Maybe that's something that they have taken into account. If you get a Gale off with the help of Gyrocopter, that bear is dead. And if you actually kill the bear early game, he actually just have to go back in jungle, and it seems like that is his goal. He started out with a ton of GG branches, and I think he's gonna just straight up give up this lane here and just go jungle.
Yeah, I think that's a smart choice by him. He does have a Stealth Shield on the bear, but I don't know if it can withstand that brush from 3 heroes. Unfortunately, they don't have a Bane. That is one of the most common ways to deal with a lone druid creep pulling bottom. You just sleep it, and the creeps will just walk by and not aggro on the bear. But yeah, it looks like he will be starting off with the jungle, and very lucky pickup by him. A double damage that will help speed up his jungle a lot.
So when you jungle and basically give up a lane like this, and perhaps Prophet will be doing exactly the same, yeah. What it really allows the support to do for both sides, to give them the option to either stack jungle and start farming away, or give them the option to gank mid. In terms of ganking mid, Mountsport should have this slight edge there as Puck, a lot harder to gank. Of course, with Skewer and the natural high HP on Magnus, he should be okay on his own right as well. I talked about avoiding the lane, but it's going to be Loda. I did not expect him to just straight up come here. They just swap up the lane here. It's going to be Lone Druid solo top, and I think this is overall a very, very smart switch. If, let's say, Koifa sees, alright, it's going to be a 1v1 matchup, he's going to be down in terms of level, about a level or so compared to Lone Druid. And if Lone Druid hits 5, he could really harass Prophet out of the lane.
I think this is a good switch too, just because if you leave Lone Druid alone, he's going to push your tower, and that's going to force the supports to rotate top. Lifestealer solo alone, yeah, sure, he's going to get free farm, but he won't be able to put out pressure on a tower like a Lone Druid can. And I think we're going to see some early rotation.
Yeah, they want to have the disruption. It looks like the smoke just ran out as they got close. Pass able to react in good time, and they're going to back off. Not only is this good rotation, you talked about the pressure on the tower, they could easily pressure Koifa in the jungle as well. They're looking for him. They're not going to find him just yet. And of course, Aki is smoking in with that first 4-bog. He's basically going to control the jungle like he is. Finds perhaps even a better early game creep in the form of a Centaur. If they get the disruption off on anybody, they're probably dead, because Venomancer, Rubik, these are very squishy supports in the early game. Koifa TP's up top, and it's going to be a true 1v1 lane here.
And we see an early boots pickup by Black, so both works both offensively and defensively, and we won't see him go perhaps a Midas Rush versus Chen or anything like that this game. So no Black super farm.
A great block here done by EGM. He saw the pool coming up, just stood himself on the Magic Bush Ward and blocked the respawn time. Offensive disruption going to come up, but there's no follow-up here. Body blocks has to be perfect. Haas is going to run to the right side, but Gale's going to be there. He lift, the Gale's going to follow through, but where's the follow through damage? There's the Black with the boots of speed, but everybody's tanking the damage all together. Loda's going to drop off the open wounds down to about half HP. The Stomp's going to hit as well, and I think Black will give up first blood. Will he? Definitely he will. It looks like they're going to chase the 2 supports away. They picked Venomancer for the early game victory. Unfortunately, the way that it turned out, the Rocket Barrage was evenly distributed amongst 3 heroes on the line side, and it just didn't work out. Pa's got to be careful with the physical damage being dealt out by the Centaur.
Yeah, I mean, Gyro's strong early game, but not that strong. You can't contest a Chen. Oh, Koifa, is he going to die? Oh, wow, so close.
Yeah, you don't expect to go down here on the top lane considering that you have the TP, but if you could send him back like that and force him to shell 135 every time you go on him, hey, that's a big win. And in early game, it has a long cooldown on that teleportation, so still a slight win here from Admiral Bulldog. Of course, after Aki and his team kind of secured themselves the advantage on the bot lane, they could now freely gank if that's what they want to do. Apply a little bit of pressure mid.
And the lane that we haven't been talking about too much, middle lane, looks pretty even. Puck with a slight advantage. I think has a slight advantage in the matchup alone, but in the last hit and deny department, he's definitely had 4 more last hits than Magnus and a couple more denies.
Yeah, generally, S4 is really good on the mid lane in terms of keeping ahead in terms of CS, or keeping even on disadvantage matchup, but looks like Fada's got his number this game right now, as he is bottle curling away. Very, very standard mid lane matchup. So, Loda, despite the fact that they just got that first blood, he's not farming too spectacularly. I guess the saving grace is that he's got his boots, he's working on his face, and Black doesn't have too much farm himself. So
Koifa, again, having the TP out. He is just getting owned by Bulldog up here.
Meanwhile, looks like Aki. Fada coming to jungle. Was he trying to gank Fada and got picked off? I'm surprised that he was there on the mid lane, seeing kill there.
Yeah, I wasn't watching. I was watching Quick just barely TP out with his life on top lane.
Yeah, I'm not exactly too sure what happened there. Meanwhile, Loda's gonna find himself paused, or at least gonna disrupt this creep pool. Nicely done here by Loda. Don't want to give him that tunnel through. In fact, they're gonna try to dive. They see Synderen. There's gonna be shockwave use. Look at the mobility being from both the solo mid. Synderen is gonna go down, and looks like S4 is gonna get the last hit there. That's gonna give him the quick arcane he needs. So aggressive on this bot lane, but Black finally finding some room to farm. He really needs it. He does finally have the Basilisk upgrade. I'm still not too sure what that's going to be about. Maybe looking for some more mid-game pushes, giving those treants a little bit more armor once Nature's Prophet join in. But I'm not too sure whether it's worth that early game investment. I'd rather see if you go for a quicker phase, for example.
Yeah, I agree with that. Especially with that early death, it's definitely not worth it. I think more survivability would have been better. So Puck is already level 6 as well as S4, and this is well before the 6-minute mark. So I think we can expect some action pretty early from both of these solo mids.
Yeah, especially the way that Loda and his team's been playing so far. They've been diving, close to the tier 2 even of the bot lane. So that's going to give more than enough time for Puck to pick up that TP scroll and then just come in and turn that fight around. Sure, Loda might be very strong with the face boot at this stage of the game, but if he's caught out without really rage available, they can definitely bring him down. Quickfa really not having a good time up on the top lane. He's rushing that Midas, but he's very, very behind the clock right now. 5 minutes in, only 500 gold, as well as a glove of haste.
Yep, and Admiral Bulldog doing work up top. This tower is already almost in deny range, just 500 HP out of 1300. So this will go down soon unless Mouz has some sort of response for top. And Quickplay is TPing top, but he doesn't have a TP scroll.
He's dead.
First hit root.
Yeah, first hit root. That's going to force a TP coming out from Puck. Are they going to get the kill? Dreamcoil is going to be dropped. Nice sprout here. Sprouting the Baron. Looks like Bulldog's going to try to transform. Silence actually did not stop the transformation. And he's going to go for the courier. Not going to get that one. And Fada utilizing that great teleport scroll. Gonna help out there. He's not gonna get punished on the mid lane. Mid tower wasn't low enough for Echo to push it down. So great rescue, and getting a kill against Lone Druid here was very, very necessary.
Yeah, Admiral Bulldog getting 2 roots very early, but very, very important TP by Fada there. Had he not TP'd, that would have been a dead Ephirion and a dead tower, and him simply being there just completely crushed Admiral Bulldog's early lead.
Well, S4 is gonna find himself an Invis rune. He doesn't have that TP, but he could set up a pretty big gank on the bot lane if that's what he's looking for. In terms of the farm check here, I think the more important here to talk about is Black. He's supposed to be the late game hope, but so far he's only got 20 CS in about 7-minute farming game. I can't fault him considering the pressure that he's facing, but the way that it's going to work out is that he is not going to have that mid-game farm. The rest of his team has to create a ton of space for him, and I don't think that's going to happen as Fada is going to eat an RP to the face. Shockwave, Test of Faith. Oh, I mean, Fada tried, but it's just too many people ganking him, and he's gonna go down.
Yeah, and by contrast, in the bottom lane, we see Lifestealer 700 net worth. So this is like an off-lane solo Lifestealer, and he had some support from the Chen and SD rotating later, but he's a whopping 700 gold ahead of this gyrocopter. So it looks like Alliance is in fact winning all 3 lanes at the moment. Although Admiral Bulldog is 0-1 in top, he still has a very, very good amount of farm to compensate for that one death.
Yeah, I say he's winning the lane as well. It's going to be hard for any one person to defend this against the Bulldog because he's got the phase and the orb. And looks like we're going to see a big fight on the bot lane here. Cinder Dota is going to go down, but at the very least, he's dropped his Gale. Looks like one is going to be forfeited. EGM is dead. Can they get a little bit more Lotus out of there with a quick walk away? Sure, the fact that Mouseport traded 1-for-1 there, but you got to keep in mind it was a 5-person in that vicinity, so a lot of time lost by Mouseport. And of course, you see Bulldog still farming away. You see Chen still farming away. So in the end, I think Alliance came out ahead in that 1-for-1 trade.
And Vino just dying a lot. He's trying to keep up with Alliance's early aggression, but 0-2-1 already paying for deaths. But he is not the best hero to stand up to this sort of lineup, and I think that Alliance had a very good start with this Shadow Demon and Chen rotating down in the bottom, and our Glyph are already blown on top lane, but we see the continued pressure from these early push heroes. 2 creeps and a Syllabear.
I think that tier 1 tower is definitely going to go down. You see that Venommaster trying to drop these wards, but they're level 1 wards. They're free 16 gold for whoever that wants to right click them. They just take 2 right clicks and they are dead. And Cinderen's got to back off. And that bear could gain on him very quickly with a phase boot. And yeah, he's trying to get some EXP, which is a nice side as well, but he's playing with death here.
And looks like Loda is well on his way to drums. Phase boost and brace are already completed, as well as 1100 gold in his inventory. S4 is also doing very well in his farm. 9 minutes in, arcane boost, bottle 1, and 1200 gold. So we're looking at like a 12-minute blink dagger for him.
Yeah, he got a kill on the bot lane on the Venomancer, but I did not expect him to be farming this well. And remember, you were doing an early game farm check between Puck and Magnus, and I think he was down 3 or 4 CS by then. But now he is doing quite alright. Still down 3 or 4, but the kill is very, very helpful. Looks like a little bit of D-ward action going on the mid lane. Of course, that kill, the solo kill against Fada, really helped out there as well. Cinderin is getting quick level 4 up on the top lane. He's going to level up a point of Poison Sting as well as Ward. I think maxing the Ward and going for the very standard build is what he needs to do. Also, what Mouzesport needs to do is try to stack every opportunity to get, whether it's the Ancient camp, whether it's the Neutral camp, because Black needs the catch-up mechanism. And so far, his supports are not really doing it that for him.
Yeah, the thing about Nyx is, like, if one hero comes with Nyx, they can just kill this gyrocopter if he's any distance at all away from tower. And whereas the reverse isn't true, if they have one support rotating from Black, Loda can just raid cheap out in almost every situation, and it's just so difficult to kill the Nyx. It's really difficult to put up pressure on this lifestealer, and Loda's just going to have his way on bottom lane.
Yeah, normally you see support helping out by perhaps putting a ward in front or behind the tower to see those TP coming in. Black is playing blind, and it's just credit to him for not dying as nearly as much as he should. And so again, where is the space being created? Again, I think it comes down to Mouzesport Fada picking up his blink dagger. If he gets the blink and a good time, and it could create some ganks here and there, they should be okay. Are they gonna make that go on S4? No, it's too dangerous. He's got that bottle, he's got that double damage rune, and of course RP available.
Yeah, I think S4 was thinking about playing aggressively, but with no vision up in the middle, that's just a very, very dangerous place to be. They do have wards in top lane, so Admiral Bulldog would be pretty safe to farm. I don't think that Alliance minds playing the farm game at all, but they do have the option of just applying pressure whenever they want with this Chen. Chen is finally level 7, and he's about to get his 3rd creep.
Yeah, and they're looking to put a little bit of pressure on the bot lane as well. S4 has been sitting here for about 10-20 seconds. And to be honest, Loda could just walk into, infest into Magnus, skewer forward, RP into 2, and suddenly a double kill. Passes in position, and looks like S4's position has been compromised. Is he going to go for it still? No, lift it, toss it back. Toss, I think she'd be dead. Nice toss forward into Loda, applying that stun. Wrath of Nature is going to come in. It looks like they want to fight this. Sprout, any Sprout here against S4, skewered down for about 18 seconds. Call down on top. Don't eat RP together. They're going to eat it Black, but still, it's going to go down. Loda's going to try to fight his way out. Hand of God comes in a little bit too slowly. Great counter here being done by Mouzesport. And I think Loda's going to survive to see another day, but I think forcing S4 to use that RP and still surviving, getting a kill is really what Mouzesport needs right now.
Yeah, I think that was a misplay by Loda there. He got telekinesis and he could easily just rage out of it, open wounded, and then just kill the Rubik straight up on the spot. But instead, him getting stunned actually contributed to S4 getting killed. So a little bit unfortunate right there. And we see a smoke in middle by the 2 supports.
Yeah, I don't think they're going to get a kill on Fada. Fada, 1200 gold. He might be a little bit slow in terms of the Blink Dagger race, but the kill on S4 definitely helping them. And Black's still farming away. He's doing a very good job pushing out the creep wave with his flat cannon, and whenever he has a free time, going back to this neutral camp to farm a little bit more. Just anything that he could get for that 800 GPM that Black always has for some reason. And then, of course, catching up. I don't think he's going to have 800 this game, though, sadly. Maybe he will.
Yeah. This gold graph is hugely in favor of Alliance. I thought it was only a couple of them, but it's actually 4,500 after that first tower went down, and XP about 3,200, 3,300 in that area.
Yeah, and XP, for example, this given moment in time is a lot more important, in my opinion. But looks like Koifa just finished the Midas. It's going to be the second time he's going to be using it, and as a Nature's Prophet, you could catch up pretty quickly. So he's going to be able to split push a little bit better now, especially once he picks up his Shadow Blade. Puck's close to his own Blink Dagger, especially if you get this tier 1 tower last hit. So it's not all too bad for Mouzesport. More importantly, Black isn't dying really. In fact, he's going to go right on S4. Waning Rift, the double damage doing a ton of work. A solo kill by Fada. Really nicely played, but perhaps a little bit overextended. No, he's got himself a teleport scroll out. In fact, he's going to go right on EGM. If he gets this kill, that's going to be Blink. Nice gale here by Cinderin. And what a play by Fada. He's going to orb out. In fact, he's going to go right on top of Aki. The stomp from the Centaur double chains them. Does he have to test the faith? He does. Oh, overextension by Fada, but still brilliant play. Cinderin should be fine here as Loda gets lifted up. What's Puck's go? It's up to 1,800. Really nicely. Just killing S4, getting another kill. I'm impressed.
I'm pretty impressed with that. Was a very nice play. I thought he was actually going to get Aki too, but unfortunately his Waning Rift did not hit, and it looks like Aki will die.
Yeah, it's gonna be close. Can he get the last of those Centaurs? Hero Centaur coming in. The second slot is gonna miss, but S4 gonna get a return kill. He's up to 1800 gold as well. Maybe a little bit too aggressive there, but I think that's fine. As long as they're creating so much, creating space for Black, that's the only thing he cares for. He's going for this kind of early game build with the treads as well as perhaps the drums. I think Black maybe should be going for a little bit more later game oriented, but it's like you said, he has the option to go for anything, especially if he senses the pressure to be coming very soon with the Blink Dagger pickup on the S4. Maybe drums is the most perfect item choice. We'll see if it's going to pan out that way.
Yeah, again, he has to like counter the early aggressive build by Loda with another early aggressive build with Tread drums to kind of deal with the phase drums. And Lifestealer going very standard build. Phase drums almost has his armlet, and we see Admiral Bulldog also going very standard build. Phase boost as well as armlet already up on the bear.
Yep, looks like we're going to see a little bit of gank action on Black, but because of the ward, they should see EGM in the nearby vicinity. Venomancer is there as well. If the Venomancer gets a Gale off, they might even get the kill, especially with the Wrath Nature coming down. Nope, Venomancer says, I see you, and I'll let you know that I see you by dropping down ward, and he's going to ward them away. Here comes S4. He's finding these kind of pretty sick runes. It's going to be Invis this time, but look at Cinderin.
Yeah, they
saw him. They saw him. Yeah, they know. But that look, he's S-commanding this one, trying to make that ward not attack, but that ward was jerking hard. So I think S4 knew as well.
Yeah, very smart of him to like skirt out and up instead of cutting that tree line and running down. That would have almost been certain death had he walked right into a sentry ward.
It looks like they're gonna make that dive. In fact, open wound against Lifestealer. RP was a drop. Look, Puck on the back line. Loda, he's really being trapped. He could invest. RP's gonna come through. RP being stolen though. You can see that Passes walk in. That's a 3-man RP. Unfortunately, Black's been dead. Calldown's already been used, and they don't have the damage output. Cinder instead as well. Skewer outward. And Loda, he's big. He's strong. He's in the middle of the fight. Here comes Bulldog out of nowhere. And it's a 4-for-2 trade, and guess what? The only 2 that died was the 2 support. Puck's still low. Puck's is on the run. He's orbing back and forth. He really can't orb in there. He's out of mana as well, and I think he may be able to survive, but that was an absolutely brutal win for Alliance. And you expect them to have these kind of early game win. Is Puck he's gonna get blinked just on the last possible moment with the mana coming back. Loda coming out of nowhere though. Phase? No phase. He's dead. Syndra, you don't want to be there. Alright, good. He didn't TP in. But that was a huge win.
RP steal.
That was nice, but it just came unfortunately a little bit too late. Black died, and that again, he's the most important member of Mousport because he needs something to do a late game carry. I guess the saving grace, the fact that they didn't lose a tier 1 tower, they lost a tier 1 tower mid, and I mean, there's still some room for Black to farm, so it wasn't so bad. But you can see a spike downwards in terms of goal lead.
And yeah, Black is just having trouble getting space created for him. He is sitting at 1200 gold right now. He has enough money for his drums, but both carriers on Alliance are just way out farming Black right now, and that is going to be a problem unless, again, they do what you talked about before, stack Ancients and just create space for him. But it's very difficult with the lineup that they're given. I think Alliance has way better space creators in the form of Chen and Nakes.
Well, tower is going to get destroyed just basically by Admiral Bulldog walking back up. Do they want to take this fight? They have Dreamcore back up. And RP as well as Chen Ultimate is going to be down for a couple more seconds. Fortunately, they just don't have the initiation power, even with the Blink Dagger, to follow through. And Black, is he still farming in the jungle? No, he's still sitting on the bot lane, rising away. I just think maybe Venomancer's time is a little bit better spent by stacking at this moment. Or maybe just use Koi for sure control with his allies and move 1 or 2 of those trees into pool. And you can see that Alliance is definitely on top of their pooling game, farming Ancients. And here's the dangerous part of Alliance. They could walk in that Roshan pit anytime they want. I think they're getting ready to do just that.
Yep, and Mouz is in a very dangerous position right now. They don't have that much room to farm after all their T1 towers are farmed, and no ancient stacks, and it's just gonna be continue to be a very difficult thing for Gyrocopter to get back in this game. He does have an Ogre Claw. Looks like he will be foregoing the drums though, in favor of rushing a BKB. And let's check quick list farm. He has Phase Boost and Midas, but still 2400 gold away from his Shadow Blade, which is usually what we see him build next. He's trying to snipe a kill on that T1 tower in mid, but there are 2 heroes already there to defend it.
Yeah, and unfortunately, a rare miss by S4 there. I'm not sure what he had in power up, but hey, Mouseport will take any freebie they get. Teleport top, trees being made, and they're going to try to get this tier 1 as well. So the Roshan, they really couldn't do too much about it, but at least they're getting something in return. Black still, I mean, you talked about space being created. He's getting some right there on the bot lane. And let's hope for his sake he doesn't get ganked. So I think Mouseport is actually okay. They're getting more tower than I expect them to get. And they're getting some key item now. Mech is up on Nature's Prophet. Something pretty old school. We haven't seen this build for a while, but there's nobody else with farm. So he's unfortunately has to get one. And that's going to delay his Troublade and whatnot. Black on the bot lane. BKB is a nice item progression overall, but you think it's going to be enough in this game? I don't think so. I think he needs something bigger.
I don't think so either. I think they need more damage. Like, who's going to provide the damage against like a bear and like a raged Nyx?
Not Prophet, because he's going mech.
Yeah, not Prophet and not Venomancer because he just pretty much just ults and dies. And like with Chen Heal and Mech, they have a lot of HP to burn through. And now with the Aegis, it's just going to be really difficult for them to win the team fight. I think that Mouz needs to continue pushing. Oh, very nice gank on this SD here.
Yeah, I think SD is going to be dead. Nobody's really going to rescue him. And I don't think... Oh, Chen actually used his ultimate. I'm somewhat surprised. But as for looking for the RP, it's going to be a 2-man RP. Lifestealer pops out. Instant double. They'll take that trade any day if they could get a little bit more Koifa. Remember, he doesn't have that Shadow Blade. Sprout, TP. Is he going to make it out in front of 4? No Entangle. What a play. What a lucky TP. And, okay, well, it worked out fine, I suppose. They traded 2 for 1, but RP was expended. Black, not in that fight, he was farming away. But Fada decides to take his entire wave. Black, perhaps a little bit annoyed with that. And he's up to 2k going for his mid-throw hammer. But here comes a tier 2 push. And I think they have to give up this tower. They really can't defend it.
I think Mouz just really has to avoid 5-5. Yeah, sure, they pick up Shadow Demon kill, but Alliance very fast to respond with those 2 counter kills. And Black trying to push bottom, but we get mass TPs from Alliance.
Yeah, I think he should be able to make it out. Yeah, Shadow Demon doesn't have the necessary move speed to actually catch it. Oh, but S4 definitely does with the blink. Call down's going to be used as a perch on top, and I think Black's going to be trying to TP out. Cancels the TP. Maybe do you realize that disruption wasn't used? Yeah. And, well, all that finagling, he was actually very close in terms of surviving it, but the 2 poisons of EGM is going to pick him off. Meanwhile, in the jungle, looks like Lotus finds himself a wild Synderen. Synderen does have 14 charges on the Magic Wand. Nice ground target on the Sprout. Impressive. And are they going to turn it around? Unfortunately, the Rage protects him for that Gale. No harm, no foul there, but forcing 3 or 4 member of Mouseport being there. Koifa going to go straight back up top. I think right now, Mouseport, because they can't actually take up any engagement, you talked about the lack of damage, I'm going to say that they don't really have HP either to really outlast Alliance. I really think they should try their best and avoid fights. Split push, would use the mobility of Puck on the side lane as well as Koifa on the other side lane and just delay as much push as possible. What Black did here, sure he was punished for it by dying. He basically forced 2 or 3 TP back and bought his team a ton of time and farmed the other lanes.
Yeah, and they need more offensive wards out. Sure, they have this defensive ward for Black, but he still died. So what's the use of that ward? And that, I mean, they're looking for picks around the map, and they can do it with Puck and Nature's Prophet on weak support heroes like his SD. But this is so close to the T2 tower. This is not where you want to fight. Mag can just come in from the T2 and just RP, and you'll just lose the fight just because of that. And we see S4 already have a Nyx bomb inside him, so they're looking for blood before this Aegis expires.
Normally, a lot of teams deal with Magnus by catching him out of position and bursting him down, but he's got himself a hood, and looks like Black's gonna get caught out here. Oh, the one-hit root. He's gonna go down a second time. You generally don't see Black making those kind of error. S4 is looking for the jump. He's not gonna find any. Well, no, he jumps in a little bit too short. Those Venom wards look so puny. They're gonna just absolutely ignore it. Pick up the bear, the Sprout, the tree's being created. They're gonna shockwave and right click down this tower. It's the last line of them. Black dead for 25 more seconds. They're gonna kill the bear one more time. RP. Ooh. Well, it got a treant. Toss has RP being stolen. I have never seen S4 miss RP that badly. It might actually kind of turn against him. A lot of time being bought. The tier 3 has gone down. Paz has got his RP as well. So Gale's gonna slow do. Is Paz gonna run? He's gotta be very, very careful. 1 Entangle. He is also goner. Blink Shockwave. I think he's gonna die to poison. Yes, they take away the RP. That was a big thing. Black is back. He's gonna TP right in. Synderen's bash. He's also gonna go down. Black TP's in. I gotta say, that could be GG, but with him dying second time, Emerald Bulldog getting a triple, the melee rack's fully exposed. We could be going to game 2 right now.
Who needs RP?
You don't need RP. You could give him the RP, and it still doesn't matter. Black buys back, and sure, they may defend the racks right now, and that's gonna maybe stall out the GG a little bit, but they're just so behind in terms of gold. Aki gets a little bit nice Sprouted, and he TP out. He doesn't have it. The Rocket's gonna follow him through. I think Aki also is gonna be another person dying there, but it doesn't matter too much. If Black gets this kill, it might not be too bad. He doesn't. Fade gets it up as well.
Yeah, I think they didn't really have time for their strengths or lineup to kick in. Like, Fury is not strong enough. He's forced to go defensive items such as Mechanism because they lost the early game so badly. And the Venomancer pick didn't really work out for them early game. And now that his mid game has come, Furion is just too weak to apply the pressure around the map that we see Nature's Prophet do so often. And they're still not totally out of it. I mean, Koikwa is trying to apply some pressure on top, but Alliance will have their Aegis expiring very soon, but with a second Aegis, it's probably going to mean a Rax for them. Their carries are just so farmed compared to what we see on the side of Mouz. The gold deficit is around 6,500 right now, and XP deficit is around 7,500, both in favor of Alliance.
And that 6,500 is going to some huge items. You see Sange up on EGM. He's going to be going for Heaven's Halberd, so that's going to be more pressure on Black later on in terms of dealing damage. Admiral Bulldog, you see a ton of armor on him. He's going to be going for Assault Curious, and that's on top of a Basher and an Armlet already up on the Bear. Meanwhile, there's also a Basher on Loda, and of course, Blink, Hood, maybe even a Pipe soon to follow on S4. These items just simply uncomparable to the Radiant side. Shadowblade gets picked up. That's nice. That's cute. That's going to allow him to split push a little bit more, but anytime that S4 and his team wants to actually jam down the middle lane and get that last Rax, they could just straight up go, and I just don't see Mouse defending it.
Yeah, it looks like Synderen is finally trying to stack some Ancients for Black over here. Only one Dragon Spawn right there. But I think, yeah, again, I think Mouse is in big trouble, especially once Admiral Bulldog picks up his Cuirass. He's only a few hundred away from his recipe, and then 2.5 minutes until the next Roshan.
Yeah, I think they're going to just wait for that key item finish, wait for the Aegis, which, in my opinion, rightfully theirs because they have the map control. They have basically stronger heroes, and really it's hard for Mouseboard to challenge the Roshan pit. Normally, if you're behind 5,000, you say, alright, if we get one lucky fight at Rosh, we could come back, but there's just too much HP on Alliance, and that's just a raw hero potential. Let's not forget about the mech and Chen heal, and the pipe, so Mouse is lacking damage, they're lacking items, they're lacking a ton, and it doesn't even feel like it's a 6,000 gold lead. It feels it's like a 12,000, it feels like.
And even if Black does manage to get his BKB, he's still around 2,000 away. He still has to deal with these Bashers. They have 2 Bashers on their carries, and he's probably still going to get locked down even through that. Let's see how Puck is. Puck is actually pretty close to his Sheep, though. He has his ulti orb already in the inventory and 2,600 gold in the bank. So not too far away from his side, and that will help a lot versus Magnus and versus Snakes.
And this is not where you go say, alright, I'm going to save for buyback, let's play a save. This is where you go big, because I don't think buyback would do anything. I think a Scythe of Vice helping you to get a pickoff alongside that Nature's Prophet, who's actually starting to do some physical damage, is going to be very important. If he, for example, picks off the Chen before he uses heals, that's going to be a big advantage in a team fight. But yeah, Fade's farming very decently. It's about 700
So they're smoked up behind Bulldog with the Nake's Bomb inside S4.
Oh man. They just need a single pickoff. I don't even think they need a pickoff, but anybody get right now, the Purge on Paz. Paz has no way of getting that one. Blink Skewer out is all they need. Shockwave. I'm very surprised. Oh, there you go. I was saying I'm very surprised that he didn't just go for it. Yeah, Paz gets picked off, and the Rax are gonna follow. They are not even gonna use the Aegis. Hoi for TP's in. There's a glyph being used. He's right-clicking away on this bear. This bear doesn't care. There's a call down, but open wound's gonna be used on Black. He doesn't have the BKB to debuff himself out of it. Nice mech, but it looks like Puck's gonna jump in, trying to provide as much disruption. The melee Rex has gone down. Cinder in the middle can't even drop his ultimate. I think he was out of mana. Puck gets entangled, and that should be it. Yeah, even the RP being used. RP being stolen, that's decent. He's gonna drop the RP, but again, a very, very slimmer Deem. No damage output coming out from Mouseport. Paz gonna get picked off as well. EGM's gonna survive, and looks like they're gonna try to kill Koi. Nice bash, nice entangle. Ultra kill on Admiral Bulldog. And GG coming out anytime now.
Yeah, I think this is just a really strong draft from Alliance. Just massive amounts of push potential, and they have the supports to secure farm for the carries, and the carries that can actually do a lot early mid game, and them picking up that early first one on Black to just really set the tone of this game.
Yeah, it's not like Mouseport fought badly in that last team fight. They were able to kill a Chen, a Magnus, and a Shadow Demon, despite how far down they are in terms of item and gold. They're not going to call it GG just yet. This is a fairly important match in the tournament. Game 1 of the upper bracket of a best of 3, but, I mean, almost fatal damage has been done. The throne fully exposed. And of course, they could just group up, take the Aegis, and come back another time. Imagine Amber Bulldog have enough item and gold to, I see an activated armlet on Lundred, and he's not losing HP.
Wow, that is weird. Bugged.
No bugs in Dota 2, only features. That is
Wow.
that is
yeah.
maybe just a little bit of animation bug, but whatever the case is, they're gonna go back. They're gonna take the Aegis. I think Loda's gonna get this one. Guard, pick up whatever item they need and just come back for the GG push.
Yep, they still need a couple creeps on Chen, but he's looking in very good shape already. Arcane Boots, Mech, and Vlad's for those 2 melee carries.
Yeah, nice. And of course, Abysso now up on both Spirit Bear as well as on Lifestealer. I think if you need to cast Abysso, you have to pass it back to your hero, right? Because it has that mana cost, I believe.
Yeah, he has a point booster though.
He has a point booster on a bear. What sick tech here by Admiral Bulldog. That's pretty cute. He still has an armlet. Like, what the hell is going on with this game?
I have no idea. I mean, he's using it for the HP regen, but why is he not draining HP? I have no idea. Regardless, we see them trying to defend, Mouse desperately trying to hold on to whatever they have left. They have no T4s left, but looks like instead of going straight for the throne with the Aegis, Alliance will be pushing this T2. It looks like Mouse is actually going to defend it, so this could be the last team fight of the game.
Yeah, I'm very surprised that they are trying to defend this. Normally you see teams just giving up the tier 2 here, and then, maybe use the high ground to their advantage. But maybe this is what they need to fight in a little bit more open area to limit the effectiveness of that RP. But again, very effective smoke. They back off a bit, smoke, and they just need a single pick off. Black, though, he's got that spider sense tingling, and he's going to back off. But unfortunately, he might survive that gank. The thing is, he's got no items.
Yeah, this is just this T2 tower on bottom is just a very, very bad place to defend. If you try and retreat to the back, you're choked on that stairs, and that's actually really bad. For example, if Magnus is a little bit north there, he can just pick everybody off, and this is one of the most notoriously difficult towers to defend.
Well, there's some next level smoke gank here. Looks like it jukes us up, and not gonna get that one up. Again, they could just go straight for the throne, and there's a wall of wards trying to defend this, but the bear just simply does. Look at how quick damage. Blink, Coil, that's gonna be onto 2. They're disrupting a team fight. The RP's only gonna get Cinderin. That's a good start, but you can see that Black, he's getting bashed. He's getting chained Abyssal Blade. That is really, really sick stuff, and that's the GG being called. They're getting outgunned. They're getting outmanned. And Fada might play very well in that mid game, but it was simply not enough. Loda's diving your base, diving your fountain, and GGs are being called out. It's like you said, it was the draft.
Yeah, I think it was too.
Yeah, giving away Lifestealer, Lone Druid, and Magnus on the first 3 picks. They're simply too much. Hopefully Mouse is going to have a stronger showing, a stronger draft in game number 2. They're going to need it. Alliance one of the strongest team in the Western scene right now. And Mouseport have all the stuff. They need to prove themselves that they could look strong and win the Western qualifier, which is going to be coming up very soon. But we're going to go into game 2 very, very soon. 0-7-6 is Gyro's score, and Blacks definitely need a better showing in game 2. We'll be back. He's Merlini. I am Luminous. Don't go anywhere, guys. You don't want to miss game 2.